Today I'm going to be showing off this really cool combo with the Trumpeting Carnosaur. I'm going to show you the kind of best rare version of the deck and then a budget version of the deck that I made that works pretty much just as well. Welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you want some more content like this. Okay, we're going to break down this Trumpeting Carnosaur combo win. Now, you might have seen it somewhere else. It's kind of new, but it's kind of spreading. So I'm going to jump in really quickly and show you how it works. Basically, what we want to do is cast our Trumpeting Carnosaur on turn 6 or earlier, if possible, and it discovers 5. And because of the crazy mana curve of this deck, these are the only cards it can discover. We have 6 copies of things that copy things. So Undercover Operative, Sea Double, and Mirror Hall Mimic all just make a copy of a creature on the battlefield. So we're going to make a copy of Trumpeting Carnosaur until we find Nahiri's Resolve, and then it will give all of our Carnosaurs +1 power and haste. And also the ability to blink out and back in next turn if we need to avoid a sweeper if we can't kill them on that turn. Everything else in the deck is like 6 mana or more, but it's one of those ones like Invasion of Alara where everything is actually cheaper than it looks. Because the Leyline Binding we could cast for 1 mana if we have enough basic planes types, basic land times out. And then we have the Hornlock Whale, which can be 2 mana. We have the Trumpeting Carnosaur, which could actually be 3 mana, because we can use that if we want to. If we have 2 in our hand and we want to use one, do 3 damage to a creature, we can do that. We have Flesh Gorgers that can be 3, Virtue of Persistence, which can be 2. We have Greater Tanuki, which can channel for 3. We have Herd Migration, which can channel for 2. We have the Colossal Sky Turtle, which can be a 2 or a 3. And we have Vanquish the Horde as a sweeper in the deck, just in case. But we can't use Depopulate or Sunfall or Unstable Glyph Bridge because they all cost 5 or less, and they could be discovered by the Carnosaur and then ruin our plan. So we're using Vanquish the Horde, which technically costs 8, but could in theory cost as little as 2 if there are 6 creatures out on the battlefield. So that can clear the way if we need it, if we haven't drawn our Carnosaur yet. Land base is just a few basics to be picked up by the Herd Migration or the Greater Tanuki. And we have the 3 color lands from New Capenna as well, so we want to make sure we hit all those basic land types for Leyline Binding. And because everything here is a variety of colors, we have white, we have blue, we have black, we have red, and we have green. And technically, we have 1 of everything that requires 2 of those colors. So in theory, we need to make sure we hit all those colors just in case. So that's the combo. And that's the kind of optimized rare version, but you might have noticed, with the exception of Colossal Sky Turtle and Greater Tanuki, every single card, and the basic lands, every single card in this deck, apart from those, is a rare or a mythic. Leyline Binding, the Whale, Persistence, Herd Migration, Vanquish the Horde, Flesh Gorger, the Carnosaur, the Copy Spells, and the Nahiri's Resolve, and obviously 15 lands. They are all rares or mythics. So I'm going to show you actually my budget version of this deck. The link for this version will be in the description, but also the link for the budget version will be in the description as well. So depending on which card you have, you might want to not craft all of these just for this deck, but use the budget versions, the commons and uncommons instead, if you've only got them, and maybe add some of these rare ones as you get them. Okay, so onto the budget version of the deck. Okay, so here is the budget version. We've basically replaced as many of those 6 or 7 mana cards from the rares to commons and uncommons, and we've also got Imidane's Recruiter instead of Nahiri's Resolve, because this will also give everything +1 and haste. It won't protect it from a sweeper next turn, so potentially this could lose when you want to have Nahiri's Resolve, so I would include that if you have it. But if not, Imidane's Recruiter is a great uncommon that basically does the same thing. And then instead of the Whale, we have Balluna's Gatekeeper, which can kind of send something back to the opponent's hand using the adventure. It's not instant, and it's mana value 3 or less, so it's not as good, but still, it's usable. We have the Seismic Monstrosaur, because we can use this to Mountain Cycle and make sure we get our land drops. The Carnosaur we have to have, so we're having 4 of those, and obviously the copy spells. We still need to have some of those. I would say you don't need more than 6 of these, and if you have like 4 Mirror Hall Mimics and no C doubles, you could just change them around. So basically, a copy of, yeah, 6 of these in any copy, basically, in any mix of whatever you have. Yeah, then we've got more Greater Tanukis because they're only commons and they're pretty good for ramping up. We have some Boulder Branch Golems because they can come in as a 4-mana prototype, which is a 3/3, which gains 3 life, which is not bad. The Colossal Sky Turtle is really good and is only uncommon. And then we also have a Spotter Thopter, which can come in as a 2/3 flyer for 4 mana, and it can scry 2 as well, which helps us find the things we want to find. For the lands, we've got more basics. We've actually cut out anything that's black or white so that we don't have to try to cover too many different lands because we don't have the 3 color lands in the deck here. You don't necessarily need to have, the Leyline Bindings and the Virtue of Persistence if you've got the other things that kind of gain life and scry and help you find your win cons a bit faster. We've got some copies of the lands that gain life, and we have some of the new Capenna ones that will grab things from your library and put them on the battlefield and still gain a life, because it helps thin the deck out a bit and helps us find what we need to find. So this is the budget version of the deck. This is what I'm going to be playing now, showing you some games with, and both of those, I'll go through the actual win rates at the end of the video, but both of them are pretty much the same, which is pretty cool. Okay, right, on with some games. Okay, not a bad start. We've got a good number of lands. We have some of our early plays. So let's just start by playing out some of these and thinning the deck out a bit. I want to make sure we at least have one of each colour. Grab a forest. Because then we still have 2 red, we have 2 green, have a blue. We don't have 2 blues, but we probably won't need use the Undercover Operative, although it can be pretty useful. We want these to be in our library for when the Carnosaur discovers them. But if we have them in our hand, we might as well use them. And if the opponent plays out a Shield Red or something, or the game goes longer, and they play out something like an Atali, then we can copy that as well, which helps us find what we need to find and hold the opponent off. So they're not useless in our hand. They're still pretty good. But we need to have double blue to cast it. There's 2 of them that need double blue and 1 that needs a single blue. Okay, well let's play out the Golem. It's a blocker if they don't have a Monstrous Rage or a Lightning Strike or any other things they could have. We can always send it back to their hand if we need to. Must have something though, but either way, this is gain 3 life. It's going to force them to use a Lightning Strike on it or trample through it, so it's going to save us some time. Squee. Interesting. Well, I'm guessing they're going to have the well, they don't have the other thing. Okay. Squee has haste. I don't know why I didn't attack with Squee if they're going to attack with the other thing, but well, let's play out the Thopter. It can block a Squee if they don't have anything else, and it can help us find, oh look, a Carnosaur. Now, we don't want to have the Carnosaur yet. We want to make sure we get to 6 lands first, so we're going to go that way and hope we don't have to shuffle for any reason. Shouldn't have to. So as long as we can hold off for 2 more turns, we should win, and it's looking good so far. We can return 2 things to their hand. We can play out another Thopter, although we don't need the Scry. Okay. Well, let's just take that for now. Play out the land. Could make a copy. Any reason why we'd want to make a copy? Really? Comes another 3/3 blocker. at the moment they can't do anything else if we send these back to their hand, so let's just send them back. They can't do Squee and Podrick at the same time. They both cost 3 and they've only got that much, so we don't need to attack because we should win next turn. We can use the Thopter to block if we really want to, but it doesn't really matter. No, we have the Carnosaur next turn. Here we have another. Don't have any more dragons in their hand. They can't kill the Thopter. They can threaten to kill it. Okay, that does get them the. They want to get there. Well, let's just block that for the fun of blocking that. Means they have no blockers here. So the only thing that could go wrong is drawing the Recruiter straight away. But we have 6 copy spells, 1 in our hand, so 5 more to go. So there's a good chance that we don't draw the Recruiter, and even if we do, not the end of the world. Okay, no, we've got all our doubles, that's fine. Once we've got 3 copies of the Dinosaur, when we get the Recruiter that adds the +1 power, we're going to be doing 24 damage. Oh, wait, 24 damage with those, plus the 3, so 27. So in theory this can go on until we've drawn all of them. You could have more than 6 of these copy cards in the deck. Don't tend to need that many. There's the Recruiter. Give everything trample. Well, it all has trample. Give it all +1 haste. And that's how you beat mono red. Wow. Yeah, not bad. Okay, so we have 2 dinosaurs in our hand, but that's fine. We can use 1 as the discard channel-like ability. And we have the Recruiter, which is not ideal either, so we'll see what happens here. We want to get green for Tanuki, so we've got 1 of each colour. Yeah, it's not ideal to have the Recruiter so early on, although there is something we can do if we have the Recruiter out and it survives. So, Phyrexians. Interesting. We can't do anything with 2 mana, so we'll put out the tap land for now. And we will need to get a second red to make sure we can cast the Carnosaur, which is what Tanuki's going to do for us next turn. The biggest problem we could face is the opponent having instant removal for the Carnosaur. So Leyline Binding, probably, in this kind of deck. Or, you know, go for the throat in anything else. Pompa. Also in this deck, you have to be careful of a Sunfall. So we might want to play out the Recruiter first. Could play out the Recruiter now. There's a reason for that. It means we will get the haste if they don't kill it. And it's not that threatening by itself. So I feel like they won't kill it. Possibly they don't have the A-line binding, because if they did, it would have held priority there. So okay, we're going to win next turn, if they don't have Leyline binding. If they don't remove the Recruiter. Looking good. So what we need to do is we have no copy spells in our hand. If this survives, we're going to get 6 copy spells. We want to make sure the last one copies the Recruiter. So, number 1. Looking good so far. I think we've got it. Is number 2. 4. We could stop here, but we're going to do all of them just for the fun of it. One more. And then the last one's going to copy the recruiter and give them all haste. And there we go. You can block. It's not going to help much. This is the budget deck, yeah. The budget version. Okay. This one's slightly not as good. The balloon as gatekeeper we can use. The Monstrosaur can find us another mountain. It's not the best keep, but we'll keep it anyway. There's the Carnosaur, okay. So we need to draw more lands to get there. The Monstrosaur is going to help with that. One more mountain out of the deck. And we might as well play the Recruiter. I'm hoping they don't kill it. It might be too early to play it. If they do kill it, it's not the end of the world. The only problem is if they have a leyline binding when we play the Carnosaur. If they do, we need to find another one. Okay, there's land. And I'm going to grab second blue. And I think... I mean, it's not urgent because it's only a 1-1, but we'll just keep slowing them down. Beanstalk. Nuki. That puts it onto the battlefield, but it's tapped. Scry. Oh wait, you need green anyway for that, so that's not going to work. So let's do the Thopter and hopefully scry our way to a forest. Please. Okay, that works. Yes, but it works. Do we want to have the Golem? Not really, because we want to get another land as soon as possible. Actually, we could do. I guess we might want to scry our way towards a second Trumpeting Carnosaur if the first one doesn't work out. There's the land. We could copy the Thopter. Maybe. Because that's going to help us scry again. But like all instants, try and do it on the opponent's end step, so they're not expecting it. Or if they try to remove the Thopter, then I'll do it. Maybe, in fact, what I'll do is do it now. I mean, this really doesn't matter, saving 2 life, but let's see. If they want to use a leyline binding on that, that's good, because I have one less thing to help them with the Carnosaur. Okay, so we're going to get the other Nuki. We need the other Nuki? Not really. Got this one. I'm going to cast that. Going to get another green or whatever. And we can use Balloon as Gatekeeper as well. But actually, what we really need is just second Carnosaur, just in case they remove the first one. Let's block that. Emperor, okay. Use up all their surprise removal now. Fine with that. Send that back to his hand anyway. The Mimic. Okay, so this is sorcery speed, so I'm going to do this now. And really doesn't matter. Shall I leave us here? Sure. I could hit the Wandering Emperor, but it doesn't really make that much difference. Okay, so I'll have the mana for the Carnosaur next turn. If they have instant removal, then I need a second one.
I have got new moves to teach you.
I'm going to keep a Thopter in case I have to end up copying it for more scry. So that was second forest, so we have 2 of each. And do this for now. And we'll try the Carnosaur. So let's grab another blue. Have other ways of getting red. Okay, let's see if this works. Do they have instant removal? No. Do they? Maybe they do. They have something. Destroy evil. Okay. It's fine. We can at least copy this. And we can get closer to another one. Or I could put out a golem for the sake of gaining life. And copy that. Eventually. No, let's just keep trying to find another one. And let's keep the Thopter alive, shall we? Does it really matter? It doesn't make a huge amount of difference. Let's just take out the, I don't know. You don't want to die, obviously, so we might need it for a blocker. It's not a great blocker against these when they can be 3/3s with first strike. So we want to find either another Carnosaur or one of the colossal sky turtles that can return this Carnosaur to our hand past the turn after. So do we care about this? They probably don't have anything that's like kill rather than exile. Well, for evil, that wouldn't work on this. So the shield counter probably doesn't make much difference. Okay, and they're just going to sacrifice things. Okay. Well, it means we're not going to get closer to the Carnosaur using Scry. But we can still cast the Gatekeepers for a bit of a threat. Sacrifice it, draw 2 cards. And we need it as soon as possible. Still not getting it. I mean, we can copy the Gatekeepers. Okay, I wondered where the virtue of loyalty was coming in. Just because of the wedding announcements going wide, you don't normally have that in a kind of up the beanstalk deck. You're more likely to have, you know, normal domain things, Atraxas, so on. Blood migrations. Okay, well that's another leyline binding down. I wonder if that means they have another one. Still don't have what we need. Let's go with the other forest. And what do we like? We like the look of these. Well, they don't come with the counters, do they, of course? That's a shame. At least they're blockers, though.
Strike fast and strike hard.
There's the Sky Turtle. Do we have enough? Actually, might have enough. Return card from our graveyard to our hand. I mean, if they've got instant removal, then they're still going to do this. And we've used a few of our copy spells. So what do we actually have left? They have 6/6s. This might not work this time. We're going to copy them all anyway. Have instant removal? Yeah. Okay, it's over. Still, wasn't too bad. Should we copy something? Yeah, let's copy one of those. Doesn't matter. Oh, you can't win all of them. If they didn't have the instant removal when we played the Carnosaur, we might have been okay. But drawing too many leyline bindings is going to be hard for us to beat. But still, look at all the rares they have, right? These are rares, mythics. We held up pretty well, right? Our commons and uncommons. Okay, come on then. Finish the game. And make it take as long as possible, casting every spell they have. Oh, do your -7. There we go. I think they might have had this one.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
So that's the budget version of the deck, which works pretty well, even compared to the rare version, the one with all the rares and mythics. In fact, for both of these decks, I'm currently at about a 60% win rate on about 10 or 15 games each. So not a massive sample size, but still enough to show that this combo works really well, even without all the rares and mythics. Now, technically, budget decks might have fewer rares or mythics than this, but to be honest, my definition of a budget deck is anything that has 10 or less. So the Trumpeting Carnosaur, if you don't have it already, is definitely one worth crafting, because you can do this kind of stuff with it. And if you happen to have any of these from previous sets that are still legal at the moment in Standard, but not in Alchemy, the Operative and the Mimic are both not in Alchemy anymore. But either way, yeah, this works really, really well, even with just 10 rares in it, and even without the lands, even without the rare lands. So that's really cool. Let me know what you think in the comments below about this deck. Have you tried using it? Have you tried different versions of it? Let me know what you think. And don't forget, both the deck lists are in the description as well, the one for the rare version and this budget version. And also, if you've made it this far, don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. Okay, thanks for watching this one to the end, and I will see you in the next one.